If you dropped Mount Everest into the deepest part of the ocean, its peak would still be covered by more than 2 kilometers of water. That place is called the Mariana Trench. It is the deepest point on the entire planet, nearly 11 kilometers straight down. More people have walked on the surface of the moon than have traveled to the bottom of it. It is darker, colder, and more crushing than almost anywhere in the known universe. And yet, when humans finally reached the bottom, they found something no one expected. Life, thriving in a place that should be impossible to survive. To understand this place, you have to travel down through it, because the ocean changes completely as you go. For the first 200 meters, sunlight still filters through, and this is the zone where most sea life lives. But keep sinking, and the light fades fast. By 1,000 meters, you are in total darkness. No sunlight has ever reached this far. The temperature drops close to freezing, and the weight of the water above begins to build into something monstrous. Keep going, past 4,000 meters, past 6,000, and you enter a world called the Hadal Zone, named after Hades, the ancient underworld. At the very bottom, almost 11 kilometers down, the pressure is over 1,000 times greater than at the surface. It is the equivalent of balancing 50 jumbo jets on top of a single human being. Nothing about this place should allow a living thing to exist, and that is exactly what makes what's down there so astonishing. The pressure at the bottom is the real enemy, and it is difficult to imagine just how violent it is. At the surface, air presses on your body gently, and you never notice it. But water is far heavier than air, and it stacks up. Every 10 meters you descend adds another full atmosphere of pressure. By the time you reach the bottom of the trench, the force pressing in from every direction is strong enough to crush an ordinary submarine like an empty can. This is why so few humans have ever made the journey. The vessels that can survive it need walls made of specially engineered materials, built to resist a squeeze that would flatten almost anything else. In 1960, 2 men became the first to reach the bottom, sealed inside a tiny steel sphere. It took them nearly 5 hours to sink down. And when they landed, stirring up a cloud of silt, they saw something through the window that changed science. A flat fish, calmly swimming past, alive at the deepest point on Earth. The creatures that live down here have solved a problem that should have no solution. Instead of fighting the crushing pressure, their bodies let it flow straight through them. They have no air pockets to be crushed, and their cells are filled with special molecules that stop them from collapsing under the weight. There are ghostly white fish with no need for eyes, because there is nothing to see. There are shrimp-like creatures called amphipods that scavenge whatever drifts down from above. And there are giant single-celled organisms, bigger than your hand, that exist nowhere else. Most surprising of all, life down here doesn't depend on the sun at all. In a world of permanent darkness, some creatures survive on chemicals seeping from the seafloor, building an entire food chain with no sunlight in it whatsoever. It is a completely separate way of being alive, one that evolved in the dark, cut off from the world we know. In 2019, an explorer named Victor Vescovo piloted a submersible to the very bottom of the trench, becoming one of the only humans ever to stand at the deepest point on Earth. He spent hours documenting new species and mapping the seafloor. This was one of the most untouched places imaginable, a spot almost no human had ever reached. And then, his lights fell on something that did not belong. A plastic bag and sweet wrappers sitting on the floor of the deepest place on the planet. Our rubbish had arrived at the bottom of the ocean before we had. Later studies confirmed it. Tiny plastic particles are now found inside the creatures living in the trench, in a habitat that took millions of years to form and that most people will never even see. The deepest, most remote place on Earth was no longer untouched. We have mapped the surface of Mars in more detail than the floor of our own oceans. Most of the deep sea has never been seen by human eyes, and new creatures are discovered almost every time we look. The Mariana Trench is a reminder that the greatest unexplored frontier isn't out in space. It is here, beneath the waves, in the crushing dark right below us. An entire world hidden under the water, still keeping most of its secrets. Follow for more facts nobody taught you in school. As technology advances, new submersibles are being designed to withstand even greater challenges. What other secrets lie buried in the silt, waiting for the next generation of explorers? The Mariana Trench is not just a distant hole in the ocean. It is part of our planet's vital heart. Protecting these final frontiers is the greatest challenge of our time. The journey into the deep is only just beginning. Thank you for exploring with us. If you enjoyed this deep dive, subscribe for more unexplored facts. Watch our next documentary on the screen now.